dome and bury it in the backyard before we go to Rome. Running off with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we kiss Rome. Coming on with a pimp song and carry it to the backyard before we hit your dome. Telling love with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard. Now pimp need a new dome. I'm on the bus, see it in my bag, pimpin' a little strong. Gang bump a little long, bumping my bag twice just to see a stone. So much to do with a pimp dome. Hope the police don't bump the bus before I get home. Coming home with a pimp dome. Potato salad, greens, shrimps and beans, pimp gone. Got a gumbo with a pimp dome. For my last reel, for real, I roll my pimp's dome. Never think of what he thought he heard. Think he thinking nothing else with his punk, boy, I got his own. Love fag round a lot of purr. Cut off his head twice, cocksucker, I wrote every word. We dream of a pimp home. I over disappear, I'm coming home with a pimp dome. We go home with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we go to Rome. Running off with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we kiss Rome. Coming home with a pimp song and murder it in the backyard before we hit your dome. Telling love with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard. So what you think about a pimp dome? Intelligent stand, the sexiest one is song. 30 plays for a pimp dome on display at the store when I'm window shopping. My song keep me jumping on the pimp's dome. Say nothing else about me, my nightstand for a pimp's dome. I take a shot, take a pimp song. 33% more look gay, simple rapper dome. Favorite person, pop a pimp dome. Trick another trick, I decorated with a pimp's dome. Repopulated with a pimp song. It's the only thing that tie bitch to a business loan. Got associated with a pimp dome. 39% ain't chillin' rate, I think I'm going home. Never sing another bitch song or write that bullshit about me, yo, don't be the pimp's dome. We go home with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we go to Rome. Running off with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we hit your dome. Coming home with a pimp song and bury it in the backyard before we get you wrong. Telling love with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard. Shouldn't have another pimp dome. Fuck what you think. Local mind reader read a pimp dome. International, we thought he was. I think he threw pimping, he took picked another bitch song. The bus driver got a pimp dome. Bury it tonight, they couldn't find another pimp song. My favorite skeleton, a pimp dome. I cut that bitch off and coming home with a pimp song. Got me a gorilla with a chimp dome. Welcome to the jungle, I'm a bingo with a rap dome. Only rapping on a pimp song, think they call me Frax. I broke another bitch bone. My favorite person bought a pimp song and tried to sing on me when I'm sleeping with a bitch stone. The weed man had a pimp bone. I cut that bitch off, I'm coming home with a pimp dome. We go home with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we go to Rome. Running off with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard before we hit your dome. Coming home with a pimp song and bury it in the backyard before we get you wrong. Telling love with a pimp dome and bury it in the backyard.